Good afternoon, and welcome to Internet Roundup. I am Magician Chuck. That is my assistant Josh. And we do the Stuff You Should Know podcast, and we have a little magic show that we do in Atlanta Friday nights.
That'd be great.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Do you know any magic tricks?
No.
I don't either.
I think I know, like, the worst card trick on Earth. But,
You can pull it off, though?
well, it's the worst one on Earth. It's terrible.
What is it? Is it like pick a card, any card, and then they pick the card, and you're like, okay, what is it? Tell me.
Yeah, that's it. No, it's like the first card trick you learn when you're 6. You, like, just divide the cards into the reds and the blacks, and then have them pick one from the red and then put it in the black pile. And then you're like, is this your card?
Huh.
It's really terrible.
Hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
That one gets me every time.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So this is Internet Roundup, and that's what you call friendly banter.
Yeah.
And what we do each week is bring you the best and the worst of the internet. And Josh found a really neat thing on movie theater enhancements, a.k.a. tricks, to get you into the theater.
Yeah. Apparently,
Over the years.
air conditioning was an original trick to get people into the theater.
Yeah, well, you ever been to Las Vegas in the summer?
Uh-huh.
They keep those doors open and that air conditioning pumping out on the streets
I know.
to lure you in.
And it feels good when you walk past, but you're also just like, God, what a waste.
Yeah.
That's how you get lured into places, especially if it's like the 1930s and the Depression and hot out.
Yes.
You go see a movie. And that's a pretty old tradition, actually, dating back to, well, a very long time.
What, just using tricks?
Yeah, gimmicks to get people into the movies.
Yeah, and this first one on the list, I had no idea.
And this list was from Consumerist, by the way.
Yeah, this is a good article.
Well, Consumerist is a good website.
Agreed. Stadium seating dates all the way back to 1922.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I had no idea.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, the Princess Theater.
Yeah, and I have no idea, and this article points it out as well, why it took so long to catch on en masse, because it's just a no-brainer to me to have stadium seating in a theater.
Yeah, invented in 1922, and it didn't catch on until the 90s.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What gives?
Just people being dumb, I guess.
People being dumb.
Yeah.
In the 1930s is when they actually thought, hey, people are bringing in their food and drink to theaters.
Right.
Maybe we should start selling it.
Yeah, and let's just charge ridiculous prices for it.
Yeah.
Like, it is really nuts how much a Coke costs or popcorn costs. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But basically, we as a society have all agreed that we will let the movie theaters gouge us.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, the sense it makes is the same as being like at a concert or a baseball game, is they have you trapped in their building.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you want to get drunk, you can do so for $12 a beer or $14 for popcorn.
Yeah.
If you want to fill your belly. It's not that much, but, you know, that's what they do. You were under their thumb, essentially, once you buy that movie ticket.
It's so oppressive.
Unless you were my family and you were sneaking in popcorn.
Sure.
Yeah.
Candy.
That's a big move for my mom.
Bulk candy.
Uh-huh.
They had a bulk candy place right across from the movie theater when I was
That's the
growing
genius. What else? Smellivision in the 1960s?
This was awesome, man.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, but apparently there was only one movie that was ever designed specifically for Smellivision.
Right.
It's called The Scent of Mystery from the 60s.
Yeah.
And it had Denholm Elliott, who was Indiana Jones' British sidekick friend.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And I think Liz Taylor even, but supposedly it was a terrible movie.
Oh, wow.
But like they would be baking bread in a scene and like just hold it in front of the camera for a while.
Right.
And then they pump in the smell of like baking bread and everybody be like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Or apparently like a wine cask breaks and they pumped in the smell of wine or something.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite work because people in the balconies were like, I got the scent like a minute after the action had already come and
really?
gone. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was a thing.
Yeah.
And it went away very quickly. But it's a cool idea.
I don't think so.
Supposedly in the 80s, MTV played it, and they also had this promotional thing where you could go to like a gas station, select gas stations, probably 7-Elevens.
And get your stink kit.
Get a scratch and sniff thing.
Oh, wow.
To smell along with the movie.
I think I kind of remember that.
Do you?
Was it for Scent of Mystery?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did they do this with other movies that weren't specifically made for Smellivision? And are just like, hey, this scene has, a dead person in it, so let's just pump in some rotting smells or something.
And they actually brought in a cadaver and just put a fan over him. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it didn't last long, like you said.
No, and there was only one that was developed specifically for it.
I can't imagine why that movie was no good when the basis of it is like write a lot of smelly things. And then, 1987 motion simulators.
Yeah.
It's probably, what was the first one? The Space Wars?
Star Tours?
Star Tours?
I think so.
Yeah, and not too long after that, I remember the Back to the Future ride opened up, and that blew my mind.
And basically, you're just in a theater seat that moves around and zooms and does that in front of a movie screen.
Yeah, well, you're usually in a like the Back to the Future one was a car, a DeLorean, that sat 6 people, like all DeLoreans.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was hook, line, and sinker, man.
But supposedly this grew out of this idea of like moving your seat, like shaking it during the movie Earthquake with an exclamation point from the 70s. And apparently the idea is that if your movie's cruddy, just do something weird to the person watching it, and maybe it'll be better. And it continues, too. Not
to harp on Back to the Future, but I remember specifically there was one part, and what they do is they'll match up, the film in front of you as if you were driving it, obviously. And there was one part where the car was teetering on the edge of a cliff, and, the car was kind of rocking like this, and all of a sudden it tilted forward, and then the camera goes down, and then you fall off the cliff, and then the car just stops. And, as you fall, and it goes completely still, and you literally feel like you're falling.
Right. Did you scream?
It's a total mind trick because you're just sitting there, but you feel like you're falling, like free falling in a car.
That's really neat.
It was really neato.
Is that still around?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay.
If they took that thing down, then yeah. Universal Studios, I think, in Orlando.
Sounds like it. Did you know Fast and Furious 7 in 15 days became Universal's highest grossing movie in its 103-year history? Wow. It made $1 billion worldwide in 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and when you wonder, like, why do they keep making these movies? That's exactly why.
They've made so much money off of those movies. Fast and Furious franchise, man.
I'm sure they're making an 8th.
They've got to.
Yeah. Why stop?
They'll just do CGI Paul Walker.
They're like, I don't know, the last one did $1 billion. Let's just let's just put the wraps on it.
Yeah. Look, we should stop while we're ahead.
Yeah.
It's the mantra of all studio executives.
Exactly. And then finally for this movie theater thing, there is a new innovation supposedly coming where they're going to try and bring in actual weather into a movie theater. Yeah. Rain.
I know.
That's all I have to say. All right. Was that just one story?
Yeah, it took a long time.
Well, what was our other one then?
The next one's green architecture in Milan.
This is super cool. Look at that, man.
As a part of... Oh, yeah, look at that.
Amazing.
As a part of Bio Milano, which is an ecological vision for the city of Milan, Italy.
Yes, it is.
Which is dirty and polluted, and the Italians are like, hey, we got to do something about this. And so they've come up with... That was mine.
That was good.
It's not as good as yours.
No, that was fantastic.
And what they've come up with is this Bio Milano project. And part of that is this 2 apartment towers. I think one is 260 feet, one's 367 feet. And they're going to be green vertical gardens, basically.
Yeah, and vertical gardens are nothing new, but no one has ever done anything quite on this scale.
Yeah.
And the reason they do it is not just to make it look pretty, but it actually serves a function. It keeps things shaded. I believe it helps with like the heating and cooling of the building.
Right.
They're going to use gray water from the building to water the plants.
Right.
It's just a great idea all the way around.
Yeah, and all told, it's going to be 20,000 plants and shrubs.
Amazing.
And flowers and trees. And they're going to comprise ultimately about 2.5 acres of vegetated land.
That's so cool.
But vertical rather than spread out.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome would it be to look out your window and see a tree on the 20th floor,
Right.
Pretty neat.
So, Bio Milano. It's a spicy meatball.
So thanks for joining us on Internet Roundup, and we'll see you next week.